Hey everyone, welcome to my guide on Dust Devils. Dust Devils are a pretty simple monster. They require 65 Slayer to kill, as well as face protection, which we'll go over more during the gear setups. They only use one attack style, ranged melee. It's similar to melee, where if you use protect melee, you take 0 damage, but you can lower its accuracy by wearing ranged defense bonus. The superior is exactly the same, except its max hit is 24, so protect melee or safe spotting is highly recommended. There are 3 locations, and the Smoke Dungeon is the only one with a requirement of the Desert Treasure Quest. The Dust Devils at the Catacombs have more HP and a higher attack level, so that location is better for barrage and chin setups, but worse for melee defense setups. All locations have a safe spot, and I'll go over them later during the in-game examples. Before we move on to the next section, pick your location, place a cannon in your inventory if your location allows it, and adjust your rune light settings now. Let's move on to armor setups. Below, I've ranked the setups based off of their DPS, a full list of face protection items, as well as useful items you can bring for your Slayer task. For magic, bursting or barraging gives incredible experience rates because of the Dust Devil's low magic defense. Get the best weapon possible, then fill the rest with magic damage gear. If you need alternatives, I made a rank list for magic, so you have more choices for customizing your setup. Make sure to wear one of the face protection helmets I've listed. Now let's go over range setups. You can use chins against Dust Devils, but you have to be careful because you'll lose all of them if you die. If you don't want to use chins, the Venator bow or blowpipe is extremely powerful against Dust Devils. Since Dust Devils have such low defense, tacking on extra range accuracy has minimal DPS gain for higher levels, so it's better to focus on range strength and sprinkling in prayer gear and use better prayers like Rigor. If you need alternatives, I made a rank list for ranged, so you have more choices for customizing your setup. For melee setups, the most optimal strategy is using strength and prayer gear along with protect melee. It's possible to wear ranged defense gear like barrows and eat food, but it's going to be less efficient than using potions. If you're going the defense route, focus less on prayer bonus and more on strength and range defense. If you need alternatives, I made a rank list for melee so you have more choices for customizing your setup. And just quickly going over wilderness setups, but I highly recommend reading the notes below so you can protect yourself against PKers. I made 3 hypothetical setups, and you can see all 3 focus on 3 valuables, usually the weapon, the helmet, and 1 more item. You can see all 3 setups risk less than 20k, and you can still get some fantastic DPS from these setups. Here are alternatives for a wilderness magic setup. Focus on 3 valuables, then the rest welfare. Make sure to wear one of the face protection helmets I've listed. For bursting or barraging, don't bring more than a few hundred casts. If you're worried about PKers, you can always bring less and do multiple trips. Here are alternatives for a wilderness range setup. For arrows, don't bring more than 300. For throwing knives or darts, don't bring more than 1,000. Here are alternatives for a wilderness melee setup. If you're using wilderness weapons, you're risking a few hundred K in Revenant Ether, but those weapons are about 30 to 40% better. All of these gear setups come straight from the No BS OSRS calculator, a tool that lets you test any item in the game against any monster. Other DPS calculators can be frustrating to use. With the No BS calculator, you're able to create up to 3 setups simultaneously and see DPS comparisons in real time. It also includes grand exchange prices for better budgeting, access to thousands of teleport maps which tell you the quickest way to a monster, as well as an inventory builder which suggests untradables for a Slayer task, and potion and resource estimates to make inventory building a breeze. And best of all, no useless information. Weapons, monsters, setups, everything you need with No BS. If you want to check it out, click the link in the description box below to find out more. We're now going over each location. When you choose your travel method, you can put the teleport items in your inventory, and you can also use the timestamps in the video player to skip to your desired location. For the Catacombs of Kourend, one of the fastest teleports is by using the Kourend Castle teleport. You can also use a Xerix talisman to teleport to Xerix Heart. You can also use a minecart to Hortal, or you can use the Carrots, Memoirs, or Book of the Dead to the lunch by the Lancaliums. Once you get there, you need to investigate the statue to enter the catacombs. Once you're inside, you want to take this path to the Dust Devils, and the southern room is the best. So here are some example inventory setups. Anything in yellow is an optional item you can bring. And here is how I would set up my quick prayers, and feel free to adjust them to your preference. So here is the in-game example for the Catacombs of Kourend. First, investigate the statue to climb down, then we want to run east into the Moss Giant's room, then south, and then head east past the Moss Giants. And here are the Dust Devil rooms. If you're using a single combat weapon, simply turn on your prayers, drink your stat boosting potions, have auto retaliate on, and you can just go ahead and attack them. Let's go into the southern room so I can show you how to burst, barrage, or chin dust devils, and if there's anyone already there, just hop worlds. We can then turn on our prayers, we can drink our goading potion, or you can wield and throw darts to get a whole bunch aggressive, then use our stat boosting potions or items, choose the attack style or spell, turn on auto retaliate, and we'll just monitor our prayer points if they get low. If you want to save resources and don't mind clicking the screen more, you can also do what I'm doing here to gather them all up on one tile, and you can attack more dust devils at once. If you're safe spotting, you have to stand in the western passageway in the northern room with the marked floor tile and get the dust devil stuck exactly like this. Now we'll go over the smoke dungeon. The fastest teleport you can use is a Polnivnic house teleport and running south and around the bend. You can get to Narda with a Desert Amulet 2, 3, or 4, or a Narda teleport, take the magic carpet, and run northwest. You can also use a Pharaoh's Scepter to Jaldrout. You can also use a Camulet teleport and run east, or by using the Fairy Ring DLQ and take this path to the dungeon. Once you enter, you'll be right over here. We want to go to this room for the Dust Devils, and the southern room is the best. So here are some example inventory setups. Anything in yellow is an optional item you can bring. And here is how I would set up my quick prayers, and feel free to adjust them to your preference. So here is the in-game example for the smoke dungeon. First, let's climb down the smoky well, then let's click the western room. And here are the Dust Devils. If you're using a single combat weapon, simply turn on your prayers, drink your stat boosting potions, have auto retaliate on, and you can just go ahead and attack them. If you're bursting, barraging, or chinning, we can then turn on our prayers, we can drink our goading potion, or you can wield and throw darts to get a whole bunch aggressive, then use our stat boosting potions or items, choose the attack style or spell, turn on auto retaliate, and we'll just monitor our prayer points if they get low. If you want to save resources and don't mind clicking the screen more, you can also do what I'm doing here to gather them all up on one tile, and you can attack more dust devils at once. If you're safe spotting, you have to stand in the western passageway in the northern room with the marked floor tile and get the dust devil stuck exactly like this. Now let's go over the Wilderness Slayer cave. There are two entrances you can use, but the best one is the 18 Wilderness one. When you go in, you're going to want to go this way past the green dragons. Flick Protect Magic as you pass to reduce the dragonfire damage, and run north to the Dust Devils. One of the best teleports you can use is a Burning Amulet to the Chaos Temple and running northeast. You can also use a Wilderness Obelisk if you have the Hard Diary completed. You can also use a Games Necklace to Corporeal Beast and exit the cave. You can also use a Ring of Dueling to the Ferox Enclave, or you could use the Grouping Teleport to either Last Man Standing or Clan Wars. So here are some example inventory setups. Anything in yellow is an optional item you can bring. And here is how I would set up my quick prayers, and feel free to adjust them to your preference. So here is the in-game example for the Wilderness Slayer cave. Let's go ahead and enter the cave and run east. I highly recommend turning on player indicators on Rune Light and having highlight others enabled so you can see if there are any PKers on your minimap. When you're near the green dragons, turn on Protect Magic and run north. Take the western path. Here are the Dust Devils. If there's someone already in the room, hop worlds. If you're bursting, barraging, or chinning, we can drop down a cannon in the middle of the room, turn on our prayers manually, we can drink our goading potion, or you can wield and throw darts to get a whole bunch aggressive, choose the attack style or spell, turn on auto retaliate, click the cannon so it's firing, and we'll just monitor our prayer points if they get low. Have your mouse hovered over your one-click teleport, and teleport out if you see any red text on your minimap, so watch it closely. If you're safe spotting, there's a little nook at the entrance where I marked the tile, and you can get the Dust Devil stuck exactly like this. And that's everything. If you found the video helpful, please leave it a like, and let me know in the comments what monsters you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching.